right, everybody. Welcome to Giveaway Night 90 with special guest Vanessa Jones, my mother. Welcome to the show, Mom. If you want to unmute yourself, I'm not sure if you already have, but welcome to the show. How are you doing today or
I'm
tonight?
doing good. I'm watching it sleet outside from Alabama.
Okay.
Tuscaloosa,
So,
Cottondale.
so is it snowing out there or sleeting?
It's sleet.
Okay. So it's not cold enough for the snow yet, huh?
No, but we may in a few days.
Okay. All right, everybody. So I do have an announcement to make, and it's kind of hard for me to say this, and it's kind of joyful at the same time. But this will be the last giveaway night. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to continue on after talking to my bookkeeper and everything like that. It doesn't make sense for my family either. I'm spending a lot of time away from my family and stuff like that. So I want to make sure that I dedicate my life to God first and my family second. And YouTube can be consuming. So those out there that see a bunch of people on YouTube and they think that they want to do it themselves, just be aware it's a whole lifestyle and it does consume you. So I'm going to be sending the giveaway prizes back to WCR and also to Window Magic Supply, although I do really appreciate them supporting me all of these nights. And I'll mention this again at the end of this show for those of you that might catch just the end part of the show. But all of those that are on time and in the comments right now, I thank you so much for just being here, and all those that have been here every week. But I'm not going to be able to continue this on as the new year, so I figured this would be a great show to end it with. My mom to kind of get some insight on my childhood, and then also, I guess, the entrepreneurial side of my genes. We're going to talk to my mom tonight about her journey doing different businesses, and also what it was like to raise me and me leaving Alabama, going to California. But before we get into all the topics tonight, let's see what the last prize will be from Window Magic Supply. So make sure to
Good
answer
luck. Good luck.
make sure to answer this question as quickly as possible, and then let me know who you see in the comments. I'll let you know who the winner is right after this. All right. Congratulations to the second person to answer and spell that correctly. You won this prize from Window Magic Supply, the Liquidator 3.0, and that's just the channel. You get the 2.0 handle, and you'll also get the flick pad that comes with it. So this is from Randy with Window Magic Supply, so make sure to let her know thank you when you do receive this tool. Now, how do you redeem your prize? Make sure to go to your email. Send me an email at joshuathewindowcleaner@gmail.com, and that's the second person that answered that correctly. So the second person, who do you see in the comments right now? The second person to answer that and spell it correctly. You would have had to spell that tool correctly, and you couldn't say squeegee rubber or nothing like it. It has to be a specific tool that Sorbo makes. And I went over 5 Sorbo tools last week. So if you were on the show last week, it should be pretty easy for you to answer. But yeah, congratulations. Make sure to email me your address and your t-shirt size. And then make sure to take a selfie-style picture with the tools when they arrive and send them to my email. All right, Mom, let's talk about the different businesses that you have started. I've seen you start so many businesses to keep the bills paid and me fed. Can you explain what businesses you have had throughout my life and how you have provided for our family throughout my life?
Well, I started out with raising Ashley, and I was a single mom, And I started out with selling Tupperware. And my upline was Sherry Creekmore, and she was very inspirational to me. And she taught me a whole lot of stuff about running my own business without a car, because I didn't have a car. So I put on my hush puppies and put Ashley in a little stroller, and I went door to door. And so I started that, and that helped me get through a whole lot of being broke. And Tupperware sold itself, actually. And then I would carry her to my parties, and I would do demonstrations on the Tupperware. And of course, she was loving it because she was getting to play with all the Tupperware and all centered around everywhere, and showing how good and durable that Tupperware really is. It didn't break with her, shoving it around. And then I landed a job at JVC, and I worked there for 12 years. And I started the tape plant for 6 years, and then I bid on a job, making more money at the disc plant. I started at the tape plant and ended up at the disc plant.
What did you do at the tape plant and the disc plant? Can you explain more of what you did?
Yes. I started out as an assembly worker in the assembly line for the VHS tape, and that was challenging when I didn't know what a top half and a lower half was, which is the top half of the VHS and then the lower half, of course. And then we had the clear window machine, and then it goes on down, these different machines that put on different things inside the cassettes. And then I worked there, and then I did the winders, which is the magnetic tape that wraps around inside the VHS that actually records whatever you're going to record on the VHS, which they're about not available to get anymore. But but anyway, I love the winders, was my favorite. I took several classes of how to fix the winders if something breaks down, and I took that with Josh's father. And
she met my dad at JVC, so that's how I was born after she met my dad. So she met my dad at JVC, and it was at the tape plant, right?
Yes.
Okay, and he was an engineer working on all the robots and machines and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, and Diane White is the one that actually set us up. She told me if I worked overtime that she would set us up, and that's basically what happened. And I got to know him and everything. And then, of course, we got married and had Joshua, and he was our light to everything. And Ashley's little brother. And so then after I worked there, and then I bid on a job in packaging at the tape plant, and I got that job because more money, of course. I always went for the more money, and I always, wanted to cross train. I back cross trained in every department, not every department, but the ones that was available for me to work. And then they had this, before I left out of assembly, I got to go to Japan. We started up like a little group that's, to reduce waste, which is like if something gets damaged, instead of having all this, waste, that how we could recycle and make it, and we can reuse it over again, so we wouldn't have so much waste. So anyway, I got to go to Japan, and that was a very good treat. I made a mistake. When we were doing our presentations, we'd have to cut the big screen off, the projector, because it would get hot. So we would, cut it off in between. Well, in between that, I didn't hear, what all they were saying, because I had to go find the restroom, of course. And then when I walked in the restroom, I was like, oh my God, the toilet's in the floor. And I was like, do they not have a bathroom that's Americana? So of course I'm going around the Americana bathroom. Here I am with a dress and pantyhose and all that. I was like, how am I going to do this and use it in the floor? So I was like, going around asking. Well, they said we don't have one. So of course, I'm struggling some. And by the time I get back, it was my turn to go up to do my presentation on this humongous stage. And everybody was looking and watching. And well, after my presentation, I cut the projector off like I normally would, that we practiced. And then everybody was panicking. They were like running around, like, oh my God, and I was like, what the world? And Rusty Livingston, he was over ahead of all of us, and he's like, you wasn't supposed to shut it off. Did you not get the memo? I said, well, evidently I didn't get the memo. I didn't know not to shut it off. And they said that it takes hours for it to shut back on. So they was trying to find another one and everything. So, oh my God, it was really hilarious. I mean, you just had to be there. But there's a video of it somewhere. I mean, maybe Chanel or Helen or Deborah, one of them, or Rusty, maybe one of them has one. But anyway, that was a really funny moment of the whole time. But we went to different restaurants and ate, and we had a really good time. In the bathrooms at our hotel, our bathtub was really, really deep, but they were small. I mean, we could, take a bath, but you'd have to definitely couldn't lay down. You'd have to sit up, and then you might drown a little bit when you sit down because they were so high, the heat. So anyway, I had a good time doing that. And then, like I said, I'd been on a job in packaging and got that job. And you have tapes coming down, and you have to inspect, the wrap and everything, make sure they're not torn, then put them in the box, turn around, tape them, and put them on the pallet behind you. And then make sure you get that box up by all these ones are still coming down the conveyor belt. So, I mean, it was very vigorous job.
Yeah.
But it kept me in shape, so I was, but JVC was very good to me. I made a wonderful family there. Everybody there was always, tight. Everybody was there. They worked together as a team. I couldn't even say enough about JVC, about the John Osmond is the one that hired me, and Victor Hamner, and at the tape plant. And I was more than grateful for the job. And of course they had a few, employees that were deaf. So that kind of worked out too. I had to go and interpret for some meetings, and some of them I didn't like being in because it was like, little, little very uncomfortable to interpret, when the meetings weren't so good. The news wasn't so good.
And you're talking about you did sign language. You do sign language, and you're very, very hard of hearing from my knowledge for sure. That's why I talk so loud a lot. But you're really good at sign language, and you're really good at that, and you're really good at reading lips as well.
Yes, and I started sign language years ago. Ashley's dad's brother and sister are deaf, and Dia, she's the one that taught me a lot of sign language. And then I took some classes, and I also worked with a girl that was deaf at Bryce Hospital, and nobody could talk to her. And she couldn't read or write, so she couldn't, communicate. And so I taught her how to read and write, and I taught her also sign language, and, that helped her be able to communicate. And when she was upset, she was able to write and read, and, that way they can communicate with her if they didn't know sign language. And then if they did know sign language, then she was able to communicate with them that way. So it was all like a three-way here, and and her name was Teresa, and she was a very sweet young lady. She really, really was. She just needed to communicate. But anyway, and I taught Ashley and Josh both sign language when they were growing up. Of course, Ashley, she learned when she was 1.5 years old, and she was really good. She was really, 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 really good. And, if you don't use it, you'll lose it.
Yep.
You'll forget it.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, the way to always remember sign language is when somebody's talking to you, if you know that sign, you need to be seeing them sign to you instead of talking to you. So that way, it'll always come to your head. See, like when you're talking to me, I can see you signing to me as you're talking. So,
right.
It's a lot easier to remember that way.
I got you. And so then you started working. So after the tape plant, you started working to the disc plant. Okay. And what did you do at the disc plant?
I worked in packaging, and I worked on machines to put the writing on it, on the CDs. And but anyway, I worked there, and then I worked the manual line. Manual line is when you have uh, the workers on tables, and then they're manually putting them together instead of the machines. So I kind of worked a little bit everywhere in there, and then I took forklift classes. I took CPR classes. I took a lot of different classes so I could cross train, and if somebody needed overtime, somebody needed off. And then I worked in the screen room. That was I made the artwork to go on. I didn't actually draw it. I just put it on the screen so they can print it out, because I'm not a drawer. I cannot draw. Like that's, I'll leave that to Josh and Ashley. I cannot draw. I can't draw a stick man. He's like, I cannot draw. But during this time, I went through a rough patch in my life, and I started several different businesses. I started doing personalized. Well, first we done a virtual A Delight, which was with Angie and Diane. And so virtually was for Vanessa, A was for Angie, and D was for Diane. And so we made this. Diane made the oils and the lotions and stuff, and then Angie, she done all this other stuff, with printing and stuff. And then of course, I did put some baskets together and made them all come together. And then I had also done the personalized baskets, for myself on the side. That's when somebody would order a basket. They would tell me about their personalities, what their name is, and then that basket would be put together to whatever they liked and enjoyed. And so I did that for a long time. I done Easter, birthdays, Valentine's Day, all that. And then I did Rekindle a Romance. I've sold romance items, and then I did let's see, what else did I do? I've done so much. Oh, an Origami Owl. Everybody knows Origami Owl products. I've done those too.
What's Origami Owl products? I don't know what that is.
They're like necklaces, charms. It's it's like you make it to your birthstones, or you make it to your kids. Yeah, it's just like jewelry. It's for jewelry. And then of course I sold Avon at one time too, and to make money. And but anyway, I done all of those. I had like 5 different desks in my living room, so I could go to one job to the next job to the next job to the next job. And I also had a lot of friends help me out when I couldn't handle everything, so they would come to my rescue. And one of them was Terry Montz, one of my best friends, and she really helped me a whole lot, and so did my kids. And in between this, I was taking care of horses, dogs, cats, chickens, family members, you name it. They live with us. I mean,
yeah,
great cats.
I remember all that.
Chickens.
I remember
chicks.
You having the different desks too, and putting the personalized baskets together. We would go with you and help deliver them, and sometimes we would help put things in the baskets and help wrap them up. I remember I wrapped a bunch of baskets.
Oh yeah, a lot of baskets.
But yeah, I do remember that. What else did you do?
Raised little chickens from the incubator, and did all that. And
that was
Josh
my least.
wasn't a fan.
I did not like the chickens. I did not like the chickens.
But he loved them. But
I
he
loved
didn't
the
like
chickens.
cleaning.
I didn't like. Yeah, it was just a nasty mess. And yeah, every time I think about people that have chickens, I'm like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I could deal with the horses. Love the horses. I like the goats. Like taking care of the dogs. Just the chickens were, the roosters and all that stuff that went on with that, everything that was involved with the chickens, I didn't want to be a part of. They would try to attack me. I was a little kid. They'd chase me around the yard. I'd be scared to death.
Yeah, well, it's because he was teasing me like,
yeah,
and then of course they would take off running at him.
Yeah, they would. They chased me around the yard, and I did not like that at all. And then I had to go and feed them every day. And I would just throw it in their cage. I wasn't about to go in there. And if their water was nasty, I'd hit it with the hose pipe from outside their cage. Well, we had incubator though, so
the silkies. The silkies
were cool. Yeah,
gentle. They were really gentle with you, and those were my favorites too. I loved them. But then after all of that, which I'm still, I started working for a private investigating firm, Bill Ignatz, and he had got cancer and wanted to sell his business, so I bought his business. And then, after I established my clientele, I opened up, I just changed my name, Vanessa's Investigations, And I did that for 17 years.
Yep. So I grew up
And
putting trackers on cars, catching cheaters, filming, dressing up like clowns. We did all kinds of stuff. We really did. There's that. That could be like a whole show in itself, just stories about private investigating for those 17 years, and having to outsmart dogs and going on people's property in Alabama ain't no joke. It's not like it is here in California where everybody's right next to each other. You're talking about property with big dogs, and they can shoot you on their property, and it's just a whole thing. So you got to be
well,
real
but
careful.
we had a contract signed from the one that hired us. They
Yeah.
have to, own the land, and but they signed it, so they were trying to catch the cheaters. But then I did also, it wasn't just that. I'd done process serving, served court documents to people, civil. It only the only ones I did are divorce, and also we did custody. Where I had to go in and make sure they were eating, the kids were eating, they had food in the refrigerator, but all this had to be undercover. It couldn't be like, hey, I'm here to inspect. That's not the way it goes down. You have to go in and you have to dress the part, even if you're coming in and saying, hey, I need to check your house, to see if you have any leaks. I'm from, the owner of the house needs to check everything. And, of course, I always had permission to do so and a contract signed. And, I saved a lot of children from being neglected, and some were okay. And, and it was a sad situation. A lot of kids needed that. They needed help. And so I felt like God sent me there to help them, from my job. Then I've gotten older and I can't get under cars anymore, or and just stay out all night long surveillancing. So I just kept my process serving part of it, and I retired from Vanessa's investigations, and now I'm just a process server. I just deliver court documents, and I'm not a mean one. I'm just like, hey, here's some court documents for you. If you have any questions, contact the client. Here's the numbers on here. I'm just not very aggressive, and well, you've been served and all this. How people, some servers do. They're like, I gotcha, But now I'll hunt you down if I need to get you some service. I'll hunt you down. I'll make sure those papers get served. That's my job. I'm not very mean about it though. I'm nice. I'm a nice one. I'm a nice process server.
And so that's what you're doing right now, right?
It is. And then my husband Tommy Jones, and I have opened up an RV park.
Yes, this is the new business. You're still doing process and serving, but tell us about the RV park and everything you got going on, and your vision for that too as well for the future part of the businesses that you're wanting to do, and maybe even talk about a little bit about how you're trying to sell some of the things you got now. So let's talk about that.
Okay. We opened an RV park. It's just right, 2 minutes from us because we live on a houseboat now. And we opened the RV park, and we're trying to, do a whole lot of stuff in it, like the kids area. We got a trampoline in the ground. We got, I just had sand delivered so the kids would have, sand to play in. And I'm starting to do the rec room now, where you can, rent it for events. We're in the process of selling. We got it to where we can make money and become debt free, and that was our goal. So we can actually go to Destin and retire. We're gonna still keep our boat, here in Alabama, but that was our goal. But I also got a contest going on at the RV park. We got 15 spots in the woods because we got like almost 15 acres of land, and we're doing dispersed camping. And I was thinking that'd be, perfect, but that's a lot of work, making each campsite. So I was like, we'll just have a contest where they make their own campsite. They can name it, and whoever wins, they win $700 and a whole lot of camping gear. I got so much camping stuff. But even after the contest, the name always stays the same to the campsite. They've always have that campsite name. Whatever they name it, the 15 contestants that are actually gonna be entering, which we got one already, is Charlie and Beth and their kids. That's really starting to look cute. They have one out there. It's Tommy's nephew and and his wife Beth and children. They got it really, really cute, and it's $35 to enter. So if you want to enter it, just give me a call. But anyway, you win $700, and once that's so we'll be charging $35 for dispersed camping. That's setting up a tent. There's no power or water or anything. We're gonna have like porta potties out there, of course, so you can go to the restroom, but whoever buys it can add the showers and add all that stuff if they want to. But we may get to that point. I'm not really sure, but got a lot of plans. But anyway, we love the RV park. And I have also, my husband and I do Airbnb. I've got a camper that I've turned into an Airbnb. And of course, my husband and his mom has it's a drivable, but you can't move it, but you get to stay in it. But anyway, that's really been like a treasure, because I get to meet so many people, and everybody is so appreciative of, I do a theme, if they have a birthday party, if they come into town for a birthday party, I always decorate for the birthday, or decorate for a wedding. If they go into a wedding party, I always decorate it for a wedding, whatever.
It's like the personalized baskets you were doing, except for Airbnb personalized.
Right, exactly. I didn't think about that.
I did. Yeah. I thought about when I seen, because you set it up for us when we came down, and I was like, man, she's doing it just like the personalized baskets, except for it's personalized Airbnb, which could be a niche in itself, Because when people go fishing, you do like fishing gear, and then when people go hunting, you make it like hunting, and when people come down for the game, because if you ever come down for if you come down for an Alabama game down there, definitely try to go and stay in those Airbnbs, because she'll set it up. You'll have shakers and elephants everywhere, and it'll be all ready for you. There's a little campfire thing out there. I actually stayed in it for a couple of weeks when I was down a few weeks ago for my grandpa passing away, and so it was just really a pleasure being out there and being able to stay in that little Airbnb. That was really cool. So that's what you're doing now, and you also got like a laundromat I see out there, and you got some.
Yeah, I finally got the laundromat going, and we got it's $2 to wash and dry, $2 each to wash and then dry, and it's a really cute. Got a snack machine in there and a Coke machine. The Coke machine needs a little work. I think it needs some Freon in it. When we put it in there, I think it all leaked out. But anyway, it's doing real good. Everybody loves the laundromat. It turned out really nice, and everybody seems to really enjoy that. Go in, you got a table in there, and you can just sit and relax, read a book, or whatever. Go out on the porch and sit. Wanted to do some snow cones. I haven't gotten that up yet. I have had so much going on. I feel like my brain is going 1,000 miles a minute of things I want to do, but I don't have but one of me, so it's kind of hard to do everything and get everything organized, and it's hard to get organized. And so, but I went down on my back, and so I had surgery, and I'm getting better daily by day, but I'm still having some tailbone issues with my back, but hopefully that'll wean itself out too. But today is my husband and I's anniversary.
Happy anniversary. 19 years, right?
Yeah, 19 years.
Been married 19 years.
Yep, 19 wonderful years. We've been through ups and we've been through downs, and our family, raising the kids, and seeing Josh leave, and have a family and another 2,000 miles away from it. That's been a challenge. And our daughter just moved to Florida, and that's been a challenge, but we're coming together as a family, and we're making it going to work out. I just lost my father on November the 27th. That's been hard, but I know he's with my mom and he's with Jesus, and that's all I could ask for. So that was a challenge, and
it's all
sorry,
good. That's okay. It's all good. Let's talk about your plans for the building you got on the property. So you have the RV park, you got land out there, and you have a building on the land already that was already there. And I know I was talking to you last time. I told you it looked like a flea market, but I said all the stuff you got in there. I said it looked like a flea market in there.
That's just because everything is everywhere, and I've got a plan.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I want to talk about. So let's hear that plan for the future of of that building.
Right. Okay. Well, I have a kids area. I'm going to turn it into a rec room, so for events, people can rent it by the hour, by the night, however they want to rent it. I've got a bar area. I have a washer and dryer, and we've got a bathroom. I just have to get the shower put in. And then I've got this big, humongous trampoline as a bed. It's in the air floating. And then we have a movie area where you can bring your videos or your CDs and watch family events that, families, that your family's grown up on, so we got that up. And then we have the music area, which we got a piano, we got guitars, we got microphones, we have all kinds of different instruments for them to play. We got the flute, we got, just about anything that you can think, we have it for that music area. And we're going to make a little dance floor for everybody to dance. And we have, like I said, on the outside, we have the trampoline and all that. And we got kids' little cars, to do, to drive. But that's going to be, event place where people can do events, and a rec room. So
yeah, when she told me a rec room, I said, it's a rec, all right. Well, what happened was that she's got a lot of stuff there. She's been buying from Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, and then she ended up having surgery on her back, so she's been down a little bit, and I just so happened to come in right after she got down with her back, and so everything was strewn everywhere, and I walked in there, and I was like, what do you got, a flea market going on in here? And then she said, I'm trying to turn it into a rec room. I said, it's a rec, all right. But anyway, so it's good to know that you got a good plan for that, and I'm definitely proud to have you as my mom. And I know you're a very strong person, and we've been through a lot of things, a lot of bad things happen in my life, and a lot of bad things happen in your life, but it's made us who we are today. And I just praise God for that, and praise God for all the trials that he's brought us through, because it's brought us closer to him and makes us fully dependent and fully rely on him. But yeah, so that's where we're at to this day as far as everything going on. And like I said, I'm super proud of you for that. And that's just an awesome story. Thank you so much for sharing those memories with everyone. And I'm so glad that we were able to do this show as my last show, because this is just kind of talk about my life and my family's life, and just to put things in perspective from my mom's side, I think is really cool. So my next question to you was, what was it like to raise me, and how was I as a kid? So you met my dad at JVC, and then y'all got married, had me. So what was it like after I was born on into, my teenage years and all that? I'll let you spill the beans on how it was to raise me, and what was I like as a kid?
Okay, well, your birth was very peaceful. I had an epidural, and your mammy Carol was in there with a video camera, and your dad had music going.
Back when it was like this.
Right.
It wasn't like this, like with your phone now.
It actually wasn't. It was actually.
I know. I was just joking. Yeah.
The VHS that goes inside, but no. When you were born, it was like a ray of sunshine. Everything was great. And you were very smart. You was like, you watched everything. You was not focused on, what I was saying to you. You was focused on what's going on around me, what I was doing with my hands, or what I was doing. I'm trying to talk to you. You was worried about what's going on over here. You wasn't focused on what I was like. Hey, guys, what? You was like, what's going on over there? What's that over there? You asked all kinds of crazy questions. Like way out beyond your ears. We was going down the road, and you say, Mom, how'd they get that telephone pole in the ground? I'm like, what? Why would you ask that? I don't even know how they get that big old telephone pole in the ground. So I said, you have to ask your dad. He's in the engineering department. I don't even know how they big machine. He asked like crazy, like questions like that, like everything. But he was very advanced in everything because I never stopped him from doing anything. I let him be Joshua, and he is very always wanting to help. Oh, Mom, can I help you put the clothes in the dryer? Let me put those in the washing machine. Can I put that in there? Can I put the laundry detergent in there? And I'm like, sure. I mean, if he asked, I always let him, explore, because that's what you do. I mean, he'd always wanted his bed made. He just did not want to get in his bed unless his bed was made. So I taught him how to make his bed. And of course, when he got his clothes out for the school, I'm jumping up. But anyway,
No, go ahead. Take your time.
Yeah, he would make sure he would always put his clothes out for the next day, and he would lay them on the floor. And of course, I had to keep the floor cleaned, so that his clothes wouldn't get dirty. But he put his shirt and his pants and then his shoes and socks. I mean, like the body was laying on the floor. I mean, really. I was like, son, why you got to have them on the floor? Can you not put them up on the chair? No, Mom, I want them right there. That way I could just pick them up and put them on. I said, well, it looks like you just jump on the floor and then you be in them. But anyway, he was like, a good kid. I always loved learning. He'd go out and he would go in the yard and help his dad build sheds and build things. And he was always loved. He loved, he had a dog that had puppies, and he'd always go out and make sure that they were eating and, make sure that they were playing, and as they was growing older. And Josh was always Joshua. Nobody was going to tell him no, that he couldn't do anything, because he was going to try it. I mean, he wasn't scared. He was, he was ready to jump on in and dive on in. And he always loved music, so I got him some drums. When they come, they was paper. I have no idea they were paper, but they were paper. And of course, we went crazy. Oh my God. We was down, he lived he stayed in the basement, so we was up ahead of him. So his room was over our room. So all we heard all night was bam, 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 man. I was like, hey, he didn't have a good rhythm at first. I mean, he eventually made the rhythm, but oh my God. But anyway, eventually they tore. So I was like, thank you, Jesus. Let's get them out of here quick. I said, okay, let's go. But he loved music, and he was always playing music. Always. I love music. And I know he had got that from me, because I love music. I don't even think I could live without music, for real. But he was a good kid. He always, went to, help my dad and my parents mow the grass, and anything that my dad needed, he would always go over there and help them, and help my uncles and help neighbors, friends. I mean, just always, he was always that giving type of kid. They would have to come and get him. They said, okay, we'll come and get you, so they come and get him and do his thing, and he was always such a blessing to everybody that knew him. And friends, they loved him. He loved skating. Tommy and him went, his stepfather, he had, they wanted to build a half pipe. And so they built a half pipe, and they had all kinds of friends come over after that, doing the skating and everything. And of course, we adopted his best friend, Sean. And so Sean and Josh was like inseparable. They were like this. You couldn't separate them. I mean, they had the dance games going on, and they had we had Call of Duty, all their friends over, and we would all hook different Xboxes in the house, and we'd all play capture the flag. And of course, we got to cheating, because they were like real good, and Tommy and I couldn't keep up. So we would put a camera in there so we know where the flag was, and then we could go and beat them down with their own flag. That we had a lot of fun. And Sean and Josh, they had so many endeavors. I mean, it was like they would go out there and they would ride bikes, and then Sean would flop, go over his bike and come up all skin up, and then here come Josh. Oh, mom, Sean's all messed up. And I was like, what? And I had to take him to the emergency room and get him all fixed up. And then one time they dared him. I don't know if they dared him. I don't know what the story was about the airsoft gun, but he shot his tooth out. I mean,
we were I'll tell the story real quick. We were jumping on a trampoline, and we were playing airsoft out in the yard. You know, we were always playing like war, capture the flag with like real airsoft guns, and we had an airsoft shotgun, and it didn't have any bullets in it. It didn't even have the little the clip in it that goes in it, or no bullets or anything. We were acting like we were shooting each other, jumping on the trampoline, just playing as kids. And then Sean thought it would be funny to put it in his mouth and act like he was shooting himself. And when he did, there was a bullet lodged in there somehow, and it shot his tooth out. And I will never forget when he looked at me like this and spit his tooth out, and I was like, we thought there wasn't no bullet in there, but there was a bullet lodged in there. So that was the end of our airsoft journey. Like, Mom took all the guns away from us.
Then he's like, well, you're not going to make me go to school. I said, oh, yeah, you're going to school. He said, well, I just want to smile all day. I said, okay. You shot it out. So you're going to get punished by having to go to school. I said, just walk around like that all day.
Yeah, there was one time we were building a tree house out in the woods, and we had all these boards, and we made out of the trees that were out there, and we had these big, huge 16-penny nails that we would nail these skinny trees and make, platforms and build tree houses and stuff. And he was out there barefooted, and I had already told him, I was like, Sean, I don't think it's a good idea for us to be out here barefooted. We have too many nails and stuff. Oh, no, I'll be okay. And I said, all right. Well, he stepped on a board that had a nail in it, and he stepped on it, went through his foot, and it tripped him up, and he went like this, and then his hand went one, so a nail went through his hand and his foot at the same time, and he was trying to hobble back through the woods. And then I another one of those times where I told Mom, Sean done stepped on a nail and then fell and hit one through his hand, and we didn't know what to do. He was bleeding so bad, we just put him in the bathtub until we could get the bleeding to stop a little bit, and then we carried him to the hospital. But he as a kid, he did not believe in bad luck, and he would always say that, and I'd be like, man, you better start believing in bad luck or something. I don't know what it is, but you got some bad something, because you keep having all these accidents happening. But Sean had a really rough life before he came into our life, and I was there for him. I mean, I would literally walk all the way to his house, 2-3 miles away from my house. I'd walk all the way there just to, get him, and we'd walk back to my house, and we spent a lot of time together in that sense, and me just trying to be there for him because he was going through a lot, and that's how he ended up at our house. And Mom ended up adopting him because it just made sense. His dad was moving away, and he wanted to stay with, and graduate with his friends and stuff like that. So we ended up taking him in, and that's when the friendships began to change a little bit, because we started butting heads a lot more and arguing, and we went through a lot of things. But that was during our adolescence.
Brothers always do.
Yeah, that's right. But it was
I became brothers.
yeah, we became brothers. All right. But anyway, so go ahead and continue on.
And but anyway, then it was like, a two musketeer with Sean and Josh. Whatever Josh did, Sean did, and vice versa. And Josh was always there for Sean, and Sean was always there for Josh. Josh taught him a lot of things that he did, and to help out and learn to do, wash his clothes, and just kind of help out around and clean out the stalls and stuff like that. And of course, Josh done everybody's chores. I had a calendar on the refrigerator, and everybody's names on what they're supposed to do on what days, so that they would be no question. And Josh says they didn't get allowance, but they did, because they wouldn't have any money to go skating or wherever they wanted to go. But anyway, Josh done most all the chores. His name would be on there, a lot, so he got the money, of course. But Josh, he is kept on keeping on, and he landed a job painting cars, and he loved, and which he went to school. We couldn't afford the second semester of school. We ran into a little rough patch, and but he learned to paint cars, and he landed that job at Wayne's Body Shop, and with one of his best friends, JC, and they were doing music in between, making CDs and making music, and all of them were clean music. Josh has never made not one CD with one cuss word in it, and I'm so proud of him. He made that decision on his own. It wasn't anything I said or I, complained about. It was his music, his story, and then JC done all the beats, and so every CD is amazing. It really is. And I don't like rap, but I love his music. I can understand it, and I can feel it, because that's where Josh gets all of his that he's things he's got on his mind out, and he don't talk about it. He just sings about it, and I love it. I knows what's going on in his heart, and so anyway, he started doing all that, and then he enjoyed working there, and then he got a job with um goodness.
Now, Billy Andrews was actually
Billy Andrews.
Well, Billy Andrews was actually before that, and we lived in Virginia. There was a lot of things that happened in between. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. But I worked for Billy Andrews for a while, and then after that, I wanted to go work with my best friend because we went to college together. So me and JC went to college for auto body repair and collision together, and then I moved to Virginia, and he started working at Wayne Brown's body shop. So it's called Brown's Auto Body Shop, and so he started working there, and then I moved back from Virginia, started working with Billy Andrews, learned a lot about buffing cars after the paint job. Then I got a job prepping over there with JC, and then that turned into a painting job. Then I ended up going over to another shop that Wayne had and painting over there. Then moved from that shop over to the Ford and to the Ford and BMW dealership that I ended my career at, and ended up moving to California. So what was it like to see me move away from Alabama?
Rough. It was very, very hard for me to let him go, but it says in the Bible, raise your children and let them go. Let them be their own person. And it was hard because I've always been a helicopter mom. I'm not going to say I'm not proud of that, because I think I am proud of that, because I never, ever had to wonder what my kids was doing. I already knew. And they knew if I asked them a question, they might as well go and tell me the truth, because I already knew the answer, because I was the helicopter mom. But it was hard seeing him leave and go live his life, and I had to deal with that emotionally. But I was proud of him. I'm proud of him now. He's got a wonderful wife, wonderful little boy, Joshua Tyler. He's named after my nephew that got shot in 2016. And Sierra is a blessing. Oh my gosh, she's such a blessing. And I just got back actually from California. I've already been there, about 11 times? I think about 11 times since you've lived there. And I go every time, I try to save my $5 bills. I put it in a jug. If I get a $5 bill, I'll go into the store. I'll say, can I have 2 5s back? And then I'll trump them. I'll put a stamp of Trump on them, and I'll put them in my jug. And then I save those.
That's illegal.
Yeah, I saved those $5 bills and add them all up, and to buy my plane ticket to go out and see them. And I always have fun. They always make me feel at home. And this last time, I didn't have to sleep on an air mattress, and the bed was very comfortable. She had me nice clean sheets that was new, and the room they had the TV going on, a fireplace Christmas setting, and music going, and it was so beautiful. I mean, the bed was all pretty, and it's just really cozy. I mean, I enjoyed staying in the room more than I did anything. I just go in there, and I'm like, I want to go take a nap. As I go in there, and I lay down and just relax, because I haven't done a lot of that lately. And but Joshua Tyler is a precious little boy. He's oh my gosh, he's so much like Josh.
That's my son, and he's 1 year old now.
Yeah, and he's such a go-getter. I mean, he gets in that little his little walker, and he'll go everywhere. I mean, he'll go backwards and frontwards. I mean, he can't walk yet, but I tell you, when he goes, he's gonna go.
I'm gonna be in trouble.
But all Sierra's family enjoys having me around. They all, kind of fight over having me there. And Josh's like, well, no, I want her over here. So I have to get my hour in here, get my hour over here, But I appreciate all them and all their love that they give me when I'm there and want me around. It really means a whole lot. And I enjoy being around them all. She is Sarah's grandmother, Kathy, is so much like me. She loves playing games, cards, anything. She loves playing games. And I love that. And I love being around all of them. And we're just so blessed to have them a part of our family. And they love Josh, and I'm not worried about him no longer. I no longer worry about him being loved, because he is very much loved. And I really, truly appreciate them, because I know they love him like I love him. And that is saying a lot. And anybody that, most parents, they're like, oh, jealous. Oh, no, you don't get close to them. But I'm the opposite. If anybody loves my kids, I love them. I love them for loving my children. And
So
that's just what it is. And I got 2 other grandkids, Egan and Reed. Reed's fixing to graduate. And then I got Egan, he's 9. And we love our grandkids, our grandsons. And we got a new little girl, little Sadie. My daughter got remarried to Dalton, and he's a part of our family now, and he's absolutely wonderful. We love him too as well. And Sadie, she's so sweet. And now I got a granddaughter finally. But anyway, Josh is a wonderful person. He's got his own business going on out there. He's got window cleaning, screen repair, washing solar panels, and he has really got it going on.
So what is it like now, as you're my mom, as now I'm an adult, and you seeing me with my business and me being in California? What's that like?
What is that like? It's exciting, and I'm learning to, where my boundaries are, and as being a parent to an adult, I mean, it's hard to be a parent to an adult, because I still want to give my 2 cents in, or my opinion, or or stuff like that, when it's not needed. And I've learned to stop that. I've learned to just say, hey, look, this is their idea. This is their life. If they want your opinion, they're going to ask. And so I've learned to stop giving my opinion when I don't really need to give it, because you've got it going on. You have your own little thing going on. Like, like for instance, example, like if I see something, I'm like, oh, that look good over there instead of here. But no, that's not my deal. That's not me. Hey, that looks better over there. Or, you should put that here. Because my mom is like that. She comes out, well, why you got that there? That don't need to be there. It needs to be over here, But I've learned to stop that. I've learned to say, hey, this is theirs. He wants to put it there. He's got it there. He loves it. He's organized. Something I can't seem to get, because my mom's always organized me. Now I can't get organized, because she's always been the one to organize me. So now I'm struggling myself. But I know that I'm having to deal with, like stuff like that, as be a parent to an adult. And you're a wonderful adult, and you're an inspiration to so many people in California. I know that they all love you, and they care about you, all your clients. They think of you as family. You help others. And I love that about you. I love that God is guiding you to be the man you are today. And I am very proud of you, and I'm proud to be your mother. I just want you to know that I'm very proud to be your mother.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I give God all the glory, because, God has done a lot of work in my life, and I'm very thankful for that. And I pray for wisdom every single day, and that God would give me wisdom. And I'm glad that I make you proud, and I'm glad that you're my mom as well, because I watched a lot of struggles that you went through, and it made me know that, like, like sometimes I just have to trust God, because we're going to go through various trials, and Scripture tells us that as well. The more I read Scripture, the more I learn that we're actually supposed to go through trials, and it builds our steadfastness in our faith and draws us closer to God. So I think it's really cool, to sit back and think about all these memories, because I've been around for all those memories. And I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad we were able to do this show. I know we were supposed to do it on the 80-night show. We were supposed to do it while you were here, but you're actually back in Alabama now. But you know what? God's timing is never wrong. And my special guest for tonight had to cancel. I was supposed to have somebody else on the show tonight, and that's what I told you. I said it's perfect timing for you to get on the show with me. But all right, so.
Now you're gonna make me yawn.
I know. I'm sorry. It's still morning time here, so it's morning time. We're pre-recording this show, and then I'll have a live show right after this, and it'll be the last off the clock show as well. And I just want to thank all my sponsors for that. But yeah, as we wrapping up the story here. I do have one more question for you, but before we do that, it is the second prize wheel time, and I really appreciate you joining me tonight and sharing your story with us, Mom. And I also really appreciate all y'all listening out there and commenting in live chat. There's no telling what we're hearing in the live chat right now. So thank y'all so much for watching. But let's go ahead and spin the wheel for the last time.
We gotta say hey. Hold on. We got to say hey to Tommy. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, well,
he's finally caught up with me. 55.
So
55.
yeah, happy birthday to Tommy on the 21st. So today is the 20th. So today's my mom and my stepdad's anniversary. For 19 years they've been married, and tomorrow is my stepdad's birthday on the 21st. But this show actually airs on the 20, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So on the 23rd, so December 23rd, this show will air, but we're a few days ahead. But yeah, so before we get on to the last question tonight, let's go ahead and see who's going to win the prize from WCR. This is the last spin we'll be doing for WCR. So
Good luck.
Here we go. Congratulations to the second person to answer that correctly and spell it correctly. You have won the prize from WCR, and that is that box you see right there. That is the huge transformer box that you see from Unger. So thank you so much, WCR, for giving that giveaway, and thank you so much for sponsoring my show. I really appreciate all the giveaways y'all have given away. I mean, we've been doing this for 90. We've probably given away over 300 or 400 tools in total from Window Magic Supply and WCR. We've shipped out to many, 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 many window cleaners. We almost have new window cleaners every week on the show, and a lot of them are winning. New window cleaners are winning, and I'm sorry for those. This might be your first show, and I'm telling you, hey, this is the last show. I'm not doing giveaway night anymore, but I've got to spend time with my family. I have to put God first, and my family second. And I want to spend more time with my family. And being on YouTube has been a lifestyle for the past couple of years. And I did it. I was pretty successful with my YouTube, and I always said, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel to help people. I want to start a YouTube channel to help people. Well, this is what I've done. I've got almost 400 videos now that I've done that, and I feel like I can be complete with that. And all good things have to come to an end. So this is the last giveaway night that you will see. Maybe I'll start it up later, but right now I have to say no. I'm just going to let it ride and just let it be complete for me. But I feel like I need to do this, and I'm being obedient to God. I feel like I've been praying for wisdom about the show, and I feel like God's just telling me to kind of detach away from it. It is a worldly thing here with all the flashy lights and my logo and all this stuff. I think I'm just going to stop doing it for a while and put my focus back on Christ and leading my family. I think that's the most important thing. So that's why it is the last night. But yeah, so congratulations to the second person. Who do you see in the comments right now that spelled that correctly? You just had to name one, and I did Ed Ray a couple weeks ago, so that should have been pretty easy. If you've been watching the show every week, these questions should be pretty easy to answer. But yeah, if you could just send me your address and your shirt size, and if I have your shirt size, I'll send that to you. But I'm running low on shirts right now, so I'm not sure I'll be able to send you a shirt. But I will make sure to fatten it up for you. I'll probably throw a couple extra things in there for you from windowcleaner.com. So if you could, when you use these products and you get this product, could you leave a review on windowcleaner.com? I would really appreciate that. That does help other window cleaners know how real window cleaners experience have been with these products before purchasing them. That was a big reason why I wanted to do the show. so that in the comments we could share our experience with these tools as we use them. You'll get that honest review. It's not like you're getting a promotional review. You're getting honest review from real people that actually use these products. And, I think some of these tools are preferences, and some of them are just junk, and some of them are really good quality tools for anybody that uses them. So I think it's really cool to be able to see those real reviews. All right, Mom, one more question for tonight before we're going to wrap things up. And we're going to go to the live show for the last time off the clock. But I wanted to ask you, what do you see happening in your future? For example, like, what do you want to do with the rest of your life?
Well, I love the beach, and that is my goal is to my husband and I to move to Destin. We want to go to Destin and be by the beach.
Where's Destin at? I know where it is, but some people might not know where Destin is. Florida.
Florida?
Yeah.
I was like, you want me to say it on the map, or just want me to tell you what state?
Yeah, what state?
It's in Florida. It's in Florida.
Okay.
I love the beach. I love the ocean. I love the sound of the ocean because I can actually hear the ocean when I'm at the beach, and it's just so relaxing. And that's where I am at my best, is at the ocean and on the beach. My feet in the sand. I don't like my body all over the sand, but I like my feet in the sand. And so that's our goal, and to live our life and relax and focus on our marriage and focus on getting an RV so we can travel to California. We want to drive to California and see things, travel different places, and just be with one another and love one another, Tommy and I, and grow old together and just focus on each other, because it's always been about everybody else. Now we want to put ourselves, well, first we're going to put God, of course, first, but then each other. We want to, finish the rest of our lives together and grow old and just relax.
Good.
That's what we want to do.
Good, and I pray that happens the way you want it to, and I pray that it would be for God's glory, and especially for y'all's marriage. Y'all's marriage is the second thing that's most important. And y'all have already raised kids and done just pretty much everything, as you can hear the story my mom shared with y'all today. But yeah, so thank you so much.
And Tommy didn't have to do that. I mean,
that's right.
He has no kids of his own, and he married me with kids, and he treats my kids like his own, and he is a wonderful, wonderful stepfather.
Yeah, he's been a good father to me.
I've been blessed with anyone better than Tommy for my kids. Yeah. All three of them, and our grandkids.
Yeah, but I used to call Tommy every night before y'all were even married and tell him good night. I was really good friends with Tommy before. He had a big jacked up truck, and we washed it at one of my sister's cheerleading car washes, and I became really good friends with him, and I became very, very close to him, and I would call him every single night and tell him, "Good night, Tommy, love you." And he would always call me little buddy, and then I grew even taller than he was, and now he's super short to me. But I'm still his little buddy. He still calls me little buddy. Sometimes he calls me Hambone, but I think he calls everybody else Hambone too. But anyways, I'm very thankful for my stepdad. He directed me towards Scripture and towards God, and was always trying to be, do the right thing. And I really appreciate that. He didn't cut corners. He always would make sure I had insurance for my vehicles and had licenses to do, what I was going to be doing. Like, for instance, when I have been hunting there, he makes me get my hunting license, even though we're on private property, and just always wanted to keep things legit, and I'm very grateful for that. And he's in the Word of God every day, and he really loves my mom, and I appreciate it. He's not perfect. He doesn't do anything perfectly, but for us, he's perfect for us, and I'm very, very, very thankful. That's right. And but yeah, so that wraps it up for giveaway night show tonight for the last time. So this is the last giveaway night. I know I've said that a few times, but I just want to make sure that those might be joining us know that tonight's going to be the last giveaway night. Maybe for a while, maybe I'll come back and do more later. But as of right now, I just want to be complete with it, and I want to be done with it just because I want to spend time with my family, and I preach that on here, and I've talked about that on here, and I just want to really do it for God's glory, and, just be able to let go of this thing, and not be so attached to it for God's glory. But yeah, so thank you so much, Mom. That was awesome. I think this has been a great show. A great way to wrap it up is to hear.
And thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I know you like being on the show. I know we've been on the show before. I think it was
fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I think it was episode 48 or something like that. But I know you were on the show before, and you were actually in the room with me, and we had a lot of fun with that show too. And this is the first time I've actually had you like on camera in Alabama, and I think this has been a really cool show to end things on, and just to kind of get a perspective from your perspective on my life too. And I'm thankful that I've had you as my mom as well, because you are half of me, and I think the entrepreneurial side of me that just wants to go and have different businesses and do things, and end up with my window cleaning business, which I feel like is my niche.
You're a multitasker, just like I am.
Yeah, and just to do all this giveaway stuff and do YouTube. I mean, it's just been a lot of work, and still doing my music, and being a part of serving in my church and reading scripture every day and leading my family. It's been a lot for me, but I think letting this go is just going to be a good thing. But anyway, so thank you so much, Mom. I really appreciate that. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the end of this show?
Sure. I would like to thank all of your people that you have watching you every week and being there for you, and all your friends at church and your church family and Sarah's family. I just want to thank all of you for supporting him, all your clients, for looking out for my son while he's there and his family. And because if it wasn't for you, they would not make it this far. And thank all of you. And God bless.
Perfect. So if you want more tonight and have time to join me, please stay for the live show for more off-the-clock topics about life and businesses, cash prizes, and a ton of fun with the physical prize wheel. This will be the last one, so make sure you get in there and do that. And make sure to donate if you want to win the cash prize and get your name on the spin wheel. And if you want to know how to donate, if you go to the description below, it actually shows how to pay through PayPal or through Venmo. And then once we get all the donations in, we'll spin the prize for all the money that gets put in from the donations, and then one person will win all that money, and hopefully it's a blessing to them. So when this is over, go back to my channel. So go right back to the Joshua the Window Cleaner channel you just found this video on, and then look for the live show called Off the Clock, and we'll be on episode 41. So it'll say Off the Clock episode 41. And I look forward to seeing you there. I'll be live. I won't be in the comments there like I've been in the comments here, but I will be live. So if you have any questions for me, just put them in all caps about this show or anything like that. Just put it in all caps so that I can read it. A lot of times the comments kind of get a little bit out of hand. But yeah, thank you again, Mom. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for watching this show. This has been one of the longest shows I've done. And thank you. But yeah, so I'll see you on the live show called Off the Clock. Y'all have a blessed night, and we'll see y'all in just a few seconds. Peace out.